we go. And get into camera shot. I'm at my desk today. Can we turn this around a wee bit? There we go. So I'm at my desk today. You can see the studio light behind me and a camera aiming at this painting here. This is a underwater scene. Let's see if I've got the reference photo. Here we go. Very romantic. And you see quite a different, it's got quite a different hue from what I'm working on at the moment, but don't worry about that. We're going to fix that. Let's have a cup of tea. Yeah. Excuse me, it's cold in New Zealand at the moment. So cold it's making my nose run. So his shirt is going to end up looking a lot greener and darker. But currently what I've been working on is the just getting the shape of the folds of cloth in his shirt, making sure they're lining up with each other. This bit's going to be quite a lot darker, but it's also going to reflect his skin down below and her skin across into the shirt, because that's just how colours work in my eyes. And so what I need is to do is just get the shapes in, and getting folds of cloth is not easy. If it was easy, we'd all be doing it. So let's zoom in a bit. Across here a bit. Okay, so we've got one button that's looking reasonable, one that's halfway there, and one that's nowhere there. And that's okay. This is this part of the shirt, as I said, it's going to be a lot darker. And I'm just trying I've got to fix this little bit here. So what happens is the cloth folds in across his arm, and then it comes across the shirt, which creates this sort of, this is a bit more raised up, and thus reflecting the light. It just takes a lot of let's move to the bit I'm going to work on. It just takes a lot of layers, and you might see a bit of what I'm doing today in using the brush, because a lot of what I've done is putting pastel on and taking pastel off with a brush, and I'm using the brush to blend rather than a traditional Q-tip or finger. If you use your finger on pastel, the grease in your hand will come out on the pastel as well. It's an effective technique in some paintings, but I'm not doing it today. So I'll bring up see if anyone joins. At the moment we're all quiet, so that's all good. So I'm going to bang away at his sleeve and just make sure I'm in the right spot for when you're looking at it. Yeah, you're going to see me working from here. My fingers are taped up because put some weight on my hand getting into the car. I felt something just completely rip up my hand. Not sure if I broke it or I can bend my finger, but touching it has been incredibly painful. So that's the bandage. Anyway, enough sympathy. So I'm just going to be working around here, and we'll come down into this section here. So don't mind me if I'm quiet. I need to sort of been doing a lot of back and forth between the picture. So the colours that I've from looking at the reference photo and then coming back to the painting. So I slowly work out the shapes. And I've reached a point where I should really put some glassine over the rest of the paper to stop me from touching it, but just try and be careful. This is a Gioconda Koh-i-Noor. Isn't, I think, the name of the brand, Koh-i-Noor. I'm pretty sure it was a diamond. But this particular blue, I've got a couple of them, and they're quite good for shadows. We're just going to scratch and scratch our way across. And the beauty of using the brush for what I'm doing is that you don't have to be so precise with your, not that you're colouring in, but you just don't have to be so precise in following the contours, or you can have some scribble marks. It's all totally good because the brush will lift it off and put it a bit closer. Blend it in. When I first, and like with any painting, what happens, and sorry if my head's in the shot, losing a lot of hair lately, so soon it'll be blinding. Losing the hair because you want to pull that up a bit more. It comes out that way. I've only got 3 months before the arts trail, so I got an email from them yesterday, from the organisers, saying 3 months. It's like the countdown for, you know, rocket launch. Some of that out. Knock that back. So this is a water brush that I'm using. Sort of a rounded shape, I guess. I don't know. It will pick up colour and spread the colour, and then you've got to put more back down. It's I found it a very effective way of doing these folds. So whatever works, right? If you find something that works, then you want to just experiment a bit more and see if it does It's not just a happy accident. Nothing wrong with happy accidents, but trying to find techniques that can be replicated. And I've also noted that by using the brush, I keep a tissue handy to, if you flick at the brush around, you'll get pastel dust everywhere, and that's not healthy. So don't do that. Just wipe it on a tissue. But the brush will also knock the pastel back close to the paper. And you go, oh, that's no good. You're putting the pastel down and then you're knocking it off. It's no good. But in fact, it means I want a bit of the paper to show through. So that you'll see the paper. Paper is, we just scroll across, scroll out, zoom out. A paper is this sort of white, off-white background. I do not mind that showing through. So if we zoom in to his shoot again, I'll see how close I can get it and see if it comes up and yeah. So around here, you might see some very fine little white lines. Hopefully that's coming out on the YouTube algorithm okay. And up here, I'll see if I can zoom in. How close can I zoom in? That's becoming distorted. Struggling to focus at that distance. Anyway, it's a little bit, you can see the paper underneath, and that's totally fine. I don't mind seeing the paper underneath. If we can get a little sharper image. Autofocus. Go back to where it was. Picture. You. Saying I'm getting a bit stressed by in fact I've only got 3 months to go and I wanted to have at least 5 more paintings than what I've done completed by now. So I'm way behind. I'm going to share my PC with my wife, which is fine. I don't mind doing that. She quite likes doing the Sudoku and all those sort of puzzles which are beyond me. And they take a bit of time to do. I'm like, oh, get off my PC. I need to be painting. Let's fix that bit over there. I'm just starting to feel the pressure. I'm sure it's going to be fine. I'll get another couple of flowers done. Just sitting to my left is my printer, which I got. So I've yet to crack on and do some prints. I'm waiting for a nice day to do some photography outside. Because if you go into if it's a sunny day and you take your photo in the shadow, then you've got a nice flat light across the picture. You don't have to worry about odd light in the studio. You know, I'm taking a photo under a studio light. You can just use good old sunlight. Rich. Right through. It would be a lighter one. Start with this one. Well, it says his shirt's quite close to his skin. Then we want to just have the essence of skin poking through. It's all going to be down in here too. Put a little bit on. Take it off with the that to be a lot lighter. So I've used white a lot in this painting, more than before. It's a fantastic tool, the white pencil, for um, getting shades right. And when you've gone too dark, and you know, it can be really frustrating. Just use it to knock everything back. And brush, and brush. When I started this painting, I was full of excitement and wonder, as you do when you start a painting. At least when I do. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm on to my next painting. You go, oh my lord. I think I've bitten off more than I can chew. This is so hard. Like anything. You just keep banging away at it. Be quite surprised at covering from the shock of, like, oh, I'm in over my head. Worry about it. I put a comment on Substack the other day. Sort of write a bit of a blog there. Sometimes it's more of a rant than a blog, but most people forgive me for that. I said art is another word for work. And that's what it is. Darker up there. Darker. What have we got? Not bad. So although he's wearing a white shirt or cream, I suspect it's a cream shirt. We don't want a lot of cream on it. Just where the light hits it under the water. And of course our light is fix that. Darker. Get really dark in there. And in here. No, I do not have the heater on. Oh, just doing a stream. That's okay. Oops, turn the noisy bit on. I've got a scarf on. Do a bit of brush work. Brush is going to get rid of any hard lines. Okay. Shape it. A bit darker in there. Might blend that with pencil. Stand. A light one. We need a light one. And let's we look at the camera. Make sure I haven't gone down too far. Yep, okay, so let's just zoom out so you can see it in context now. So it's starting to get there. That's not so bad, eh? This fold here, that's coming along quite nicely. This fold in here, that's starting to shape up nicely. Still got a little bit of work to do. But it's the shape is getting there. Now this bit that I'm just having a touch on, down in here, I haven't really put any pastel down, just very small amounts. So, and the board, the paper pastel mat, very got its own texture and how it likes to behave. So I'm just going to load some colours. Now just start with a light blue. I'm going to blend the blue out. I'm quite dark. Now we'll just get a going. Does feel like I'm just colouring it in, but can't be helped. to a certain extent. I'm reading a book about Turner at the moment. John, my Lord William Turner, and sometimes painters were referred to as colorists back then. I don't know that I really like Turner. It's a complicated guy. I suspect he would be said to be on a spectrum these days. But it's quite good reading about artists and how they got to be where they were. He was a real businessman. He was an excellent salesman. He had a money out of art, that's for sure. Get some colour going on in there. Or some shading. Really, that's what I'm doing today, shading. And it's very much a well, you just gotta keep laying on the colours. And painting will appear. something like that. Now I'll just get the brush out. I'm just trying to follow the contours. Expose the picture. Years ago, I worked in a field that was sort of process improvement. Yeah. This contractor I worked with taught me this saying. Follow the paper, breathe the process. If you can find the paper trail, you'll discover what's going on. Breathe the process. And I think in painting, doing something similar. We're trying to just keep ticking away at the picture and it will appear, but you've got to be patient. And sometimes I just don't have the patience. It's like, oh, I don't know if I'll ever be an artist. I don't have the patience for this. And then I start something like this, and it actually turns into something quite lovely. There you go. Ah, there you go. Wasn't that hard, was it? At least that's what I say to myself. I think that's enough to sort of demonstrate how I'm working. So I've got a lot more to do on this sleeve. So there's a number of layers that I will end up putting down. But that gives an indication of just how my wee mind's working at the moment. And getting these folds, because there's a lot of folds to do. If I just zoom out, go to the, so we see it in context. Move over a wee bit. Okay, so he's got all these folds in his shirt, and that actually does look quite good. I'm the top bit up here, but I'm okay with that. That's been a good little session. There's bits to tidy up, but for finding the shapes and identifying some lumps and bumps in the shirt, that's fine. And but when we get to her dress, so I'll just bring up the reference photo. You'll see it's like a rose. There's all these petals at the back of her dress. That's going to be quite exciting to work on, and the whole thing ties together because these folds in his shirt, it's mimicked by the refractions in the water, which I will tidy up a bit. I'm just trying to knock them back into the background a little bit more because I did them with pan pastel and they were just a bit too in my face. Still got a lot of background to do down here, but the shirt mimics the refractions, and there's all this sort of it's quite lovely actually. The photographer did a great job. I think her name was Victoria Strelka. You can find her work on Pixels. Anyway, that's it for this stream. those watching on the replay, thank you very, very much for having a watch. And I wish you all a creative week ahead. Bye for now.